Good evening, teacher.
Pero qué bueno que
Grandma, what did you look like when you were a little girl?
I was blonde, and I used to have long hair, just like you.
And what were you like?
I used to be playful and talkative.
What about you, Grandpa?
I used to be very shy. Whenever a stranger came to our house, I would hide in a closet.
Did you used to have lots of fun when you were kids?
When I was a child, I used to play hide and seek with my brother and my sister. It was my favorite game. I would also jump the rope with my friends, and we would often play moms and dads as kids. We played outdoors a lot. We also liked playing hopscotch. We used to draw the squares on the ground with chalk.
Kids still play these games. That's unbelievable.
What about you, Grandpa?
My brother and I would spend the day walking around the neighborhood, visiting other kids on the block and playing games. We used to have wooden scooters and we would ride them every day. Sometimes we would make paper planes.
I have a scooter too, and I can also make paper planes.
That's great.
Did you have any fairy tale books?
Yes, sometimes my mother would read us some tales before going to sleep, but we didn't have too many books.
Did you like any sport when you were kids?
I used to take ballet classes because I wanted to be a ballerina.
I used to play baseball. I was good at it and used to be selected as the #1 player. I was popular among my peers.
Yay! What was school like when you were kids? I really want to know.
Well, students used to respect their teachers very much. We would always obey them. I can remember Mrs. Elizabeth, my third-grade teacher, very well. When we arrived each morning, she would sit at her desk. She would always smile and say hello to each student as they entered. When the bell rang, she would stand up and clear her throat. That meant we were supposed to be quiet so that the class could start.
Teachers were usually very strict. If the children were naughty, they had to stand in the corner. Our teacher would even hit our palms with a ruler.
That must have hurt quite a lot.
Yes, it did.
Did you wear uniforms?
No, we didn't used to wear uniforms. We used to wear our everyday clothes to school.
Was there a cafeteria in your school?
No, the schools did not used to offer lunch to students. Every student would carry their own food and water from home.
But I bet you didn't have homework when you were in school, did you?
Students used to have homework back then, too.
Really? Wow.
Did you used to walk to school?
Yes, I used to walk to school with my siblings because we lived close to the school.
My school was not close to my home, so I would go by bus.
Did you used to have a smartphone or a computer?
No, of course not. There were no smartphones or computers back then.
Really? Then how did you use to contact your friends and relatives?
We used to go to a phone booth with lots of coins. Or we would write letters. But it would take days before they were delivered.
Life seems hard without technology.
We used to have a record player. We would listen to our favorite songs.
What about TV?
We had a black and white TV. I remember we would sit in front of the TV in the evenings watching movies.
What did you use to eat when you were kids?
During summertime, we would eat lots of fresh vegetables and fruits, as well as milk and cheese. During wintertime, we would eat potatoes, beans, canned fruits and pickles, rice and oats, meat and eggs.
I know there were no supermarkets then. Where did you use to buy your food?
There used to be small grocery stores in town where you could buy food.
Was there ice cream when you were kids? What about cola?
Yes, there used to be ice cream and soda counters in the stores.
Your childhood was really beautiful and interesting.
Yes, I miss my childhood so much.
We used to be so happy.
All right, what day is it today?
Today is Wednesday.
Today, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I'm sorry. Tuesday.
Tuesday.
January
Date.
9th.
Means the year.
2024.
What's the weather like today? What's the weather like today?
It is cool.
Right. Used to or would. We use them to talk about repetitive activities or habits in the past. Is used to is subject, sorry, is subject plus used to plus verb. Used to go to school when little. This case can be would too. I would go to school when little. Affirmative. Negative. Subject plus didn't used to or wouldn't. Plus verb. I wouldn't, sorry, I didn't use to. Careful here. Look at here that you use used to with the because it's in affirmative. In negative, you're using didn't already, so you don't have to change the verb, right? So I didn't use to work back then. Or I wouldn't work back then. Questions. Did or would plus subject. Sorry, did. In this case, did plus subject plus used to. The same. You used did, so you don't have to change the verb used. You don't have to add D. All right, careful. This is very important and confusing. Last verb. Or would plus subject plus verb. Would in questions is not very common. It's better to use used to. Did you use to live with your parents? Back, way back when? Would you live with your parents? Way back when? So, notice. Let's do something here. Not used to is usually found with these expressions. Not anymore. Not any longer. They mean they emphasize that the action didn't happen more. I used to go to school when little. Or I didn't. Sorry, I used to go to school. Or let's say I used to play with friends when little. But not anymore. Not anymore or not any longer, all right? Both are correct. Notice. Don't use would when talking about feelings or states. So you don't say, I would be happy back then. This is wrong. I used to be happy back then. This is right. Did you understand this? Do you have any questions? Yes or not?
Yes, teacher.
All right, we'll copy that then. I'm taking the screen capture. Look in the same link.